Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to another Omega Insight. Tonight's topic is the upside down of distractions. I know that distraction has a bad rap. Wikipedia defines distraction as the diversion of attention, and it's caused by one of the following: the lack of ability to pay attention, lack of interest, greater interest in something else, or the novelty that something's new. They appear from external sources, physical stimuli, the five senses, of course, and then, of course, we have internal distractions, our thoughts, emotions, fantasies, urges. We daydream. Multitasking falls into distraction. I know there's a lot of people who are big on multitasking. I am not. So to me, I think multitasking is a cause of procrastination because I'm off doing other things. Oh, I'll do that later. And I start multitasking. However, I want to mention that distraction can be very helpful. The military uses a strategy where a small group of soldiers draw the attention of the enemy while the main troop enters in another way and moves in. Flares or noise can also divert the enemy's attention. Dentists use a distraction by small talk so you don't think about the drill that's about to go into your mouth. Parents know a very quick way to stop the baby from crying: jingle a set of keys or give them something else to attract them, or the lights to distract them. We all understand about distractions, how sometimes they can be helpful. Writer's block, as a matter of fact, those of you who are writers, sometimes writers actually go through the motion of doing something entirely different just to be able to break away and get a new clean set. You could be thinking of something so much and you're going to forget. Just walk away and come back. We often say in the classroom, forget about the question you're trying to figure out. Just forget about it. It'll come back to you. And 9 times out of 10, it does. When you're trying to remember something, it just comes back when you stop that pressure and you add distraction into play. I know that some people jump into ice to shock their systems. That's a distraction. And you don't feel the pain anymore because you're in the ice now. I'm not saying that's something that you would want to do. I remember there was a time when I was about to do something that was, I would say, destructive. I was reactive, and I was about to react. It was building up, and I was about to be reacting, violent, I guess you could say. That would be a form of violence. And the moment that I was about to do it, I got distracted. There was something out of the corner of my eye, and I looked over. And when I looked back, just that moment of looking away actually defined me, because I chose wisdom replaced my reaction. I looked away long enough to come back and be in the present moment and recognize that I was about to react and be someone I don't want to be. And in that moment, I chose not to be. And it was very helpful. So that distraction actually provided me with an opportunity to break away from that reaction and come back and choose not to react. And at times I do this intentionally, cause a distraction when I feel myself getting upset over something. I choose to do something different and to come back to it. I remember when Mark and I first got together, my husband and I said to him, when it comes to discussing things that are, if we have an argument or something, I'm not somebody who can process right away. I actually need to break away and process on my own and come back, because in that moment, I need that distraction. I need to be able to walk away and then come back, not for days and weeks, 20 minutes, 10 minutes, however long, just to be able to settle the emotion down, because I don't want to speak from reactive emotion. I'd rather speak from a choice of conscious feelings and emotion. And so that's where distraction was very helpful for me. Now, of course, 9 times out of 10, we do know distractions are disruptive, because it just takes us away from where we are. And people are easily distracted. There are people who are easily distracted because they don't have a purpose. So they're affected by any outside force. The traffic, the government, social media, the weather, the pain, the suffering, gossip, the news. There's so many things that we could be distracted. The latest gossip, we get involved in it. And before you know it, I'm gone. Not to mention television, or, what's been replacing TV now is the cable stations and YouTubes, podcasts. Like there's other things to now hold our attention to. Good Lord, when I grew up, there's 4 channels: ABC, CBS, NBC, and Fox, or the public broadcasting, actually, what it was, and then Fox later came on. Now I can't even begin to tell you how many channels there are. There are how many different ways there are to distract us and keep our attention someplace else. So our distractions, can soon be an addiction. People who smoke, they use that as an opportunity to break away, and then it becomes an addiction. We need to have that. Or we need to get home to, well, not some more, because you can record your TV shows, but you want to get to happy hour. You immediately call your friends as soon as you have the moment. Call your friends. As a matter of fact, it's very funny. There was a study a few years ago where companies started letting their employees text while they were working because they recognized that texting is such an important part of the culture, and it didn't detract away from their job. They had the opportunity to distract, come back and do their job, distract, come back. And so there was a few companies that actually were saying it's okay if you text. There's some classes that I know the teachers allow the kids to have their phones on, and they're listening to music while they're studying. I mean, it's just, things are different now than when I grew up, things are different. But when it comes to distractions, again, the idea is, I said this is the upside down of distractions. I wanted to show the positive aspect of distractions if we choose them. If we're distracted because I'm being whatever, reacting to whatever's going on, that's not helpful. But when I choose to be distracted to help me realign myself, then it can be very beneficial. So then the natural question is to ask yourself, well, how do I know if I'm aware of the distractions are an addiction or distracting me? Are they destructive or constructive? So how do we do that? How do we know? Well, choose them rather than allowing them to choose us. We have the ability to feed off the distraction and realign ourselves, or do the distractions feed off of us and we get ourselves into the motion? Because distractions are like a force. It's a life force of their own. As with any forces, it needs energy to survive. So my mind in the distraction, have you ever gone down the rabbit hole? I just said this to my husband the other day. I literally was on my phone. I went to meditate. I turned on the phone to get the alarm on, and then I thought, let me put some music on. And as I'm doing that, an alert popped up. I know I've said this before. I popped on the alert. I tapped on that, and then there was a funny little YouTube connected. So I went to the YouTube. 4 hours. I'm stunned. 4 hours. I was in my meditation room for 4 hours on the YouTube following you. I went down the rabbit hole. That was a distraction. That was not beneficial for me because I had things I had to get done that day. But it happens. Everyone is subject to the distractions. And really what it did was show a lack of control of my willpower. I knew I had a regimen. I knew there was stuff I had to get done, and yet I just went here, then went there, and then went there, and I just, again, wasn't feeling strong enough with my will. When I consciously choose to distract myself, I have to be able to undistract myself. So if I say, you know what, I need to take a break from writing or whatever it is that I'm working on, this project I'm working on, I need to take a break, go take a break, but when the break is over, it's over and come back. I want to go watch a comedy. Okay, go watch the half-hour comedy, and that's it. Come back. I want to listen to some music, listen to your music, and come back. You need to go take a walk, and come back. It is very important that when we say we're going to take a distraction, when we're going to take a break, that once the break is over, we return and resume what we were doing. That's very, very important. That's how distractions can help us. Otherwise, we become victims of the distractions, and I lose the strength of my mind and my willpower. Remember, willpower is connected to my thinking. If I lose that, then I'm subject to being a victim of my own distractions. Thank you for joining me this evening. I appreciate it. I hope that I wasn't too much of a distraction to you. Perhaps maybe this video is a welcome distraction. I look forward to seeing you next week. Have a wonderful evening. Bye now.